Otto the First became King of Germany in 936 on the death of his father, Henry the Fowler. Henry had left a kingdom in strong health for Otto. After the nobles had sworn to uphold Henry's wishes that Otto would succeed him, the coronation for Otto to become King of Germany took place at Aachen in 936. An argument arose at the ceremony over who would oversee the proceedings before it was settled upon a senior archbishop. This archbishop made Otto swear the usual oaths of ruling justly and upholding peace. They anointed him as king, and when the coronation was completed, the royal party headed to the palace for celebratory feasts. One of Otto's main problems, as had been the case during his father's reign, was dealing with the Magyars. In 955 they had sent ambassadors to Otto's court in the pretense of seeking peace, but it was merely a trick. Once the ambassadors had left with gifts from the king, Magyar forces spilled into the German kingdom, causing carnage. Otto reacted immediately, where he would meet them at the Battle of Lechfeld. The battle, to begin with, didn't go as planned. The Magyars crossed the River Lech and caught Otto's forces off guard. Significant damage was caused to the rear of Otto's army, as many men were either killed or taken captive. Otto, with the help of his dukes, managed to reorganize and reclaim most of the men who had been taken, and he then put to flight the initial attack. Otto, now sensing his opportunity, as the Magyars retreated, he launched his own counterattack against them, sending them into disarray. The enemy fled in panic, some drowning, some being hunted down by Otto's men, and some being brutally burned alive in nearby buildings in the neighbouring towns. The chronicles describe the victory as there never been so bloody a victory gained over so savage a people. This same chronicler also describes there being virtually no survivors on the Magyar side. The victory was absolute for Otto. This brilliant military victory at Lechfeld typifies the type of man and leader Otto was. Much of what Otto learned would have been gleaned from his own father's brilliant military victories against the Magyars and Danes. Otto was born about 912, so would have been in his early 20s when he became king. His added maturity at the time of his coronation would certainly stand him in good stead, rather than being a younger king who still had to learn on the job. Otto's realm had been disturbed by the actions of a certain Boleslav I, who murdered one of Henry the Fowler's allies. The problems with Boleslav continued into the 940s, before Otto eventually captured him and placed him in the custody of Duke Henry of Bavaria, one of Otto's brothers. This Boleslav I is not to be confused with Boleslav the Brave of Poland. In 930, Otto married his first wife, Edith, the daughter of Edward the Elder of Wessex, and so granddaughter of Alfred the Great. She produced him a son and daughter, and proved to be both popular with the ordinary people and with Otto. She died aged about 35, and Otto certainly grieved her passing. Otto's second wife was a woman by the name of Adelaide, who would yield much influence over Otto, and also in the following reign of Otto II, her son with Otto I. Ruling over an extensive territory involved considerable travelling for any diligent king, and it was during one of these journeys that Otto unearthed a plot against him, formulated by his son Leodolf, and by one of his other male relations by marriage, although there is some confusion as to who was the guilty party in this part of the rebellion. It was either his brother-in-law, Hugh, or son-in-law, Conrad. Either way, the man responsible had clearly been whispering in Leodolf's ear as Otto had been quite clear in his intentions to give his son at least a share of the power. The rebellion became serious, with Bavaria in particular turning their backs on Otto. Disgusted by this, he ransacked the neighbouring countryside, leaving the citizens in no doubt as to his feelings towards them. Liudolf had certainly attempted to capture Mainz to add insult to injury. One of the key men in this uprising then made matters worse in 954 by allying himself with the Magyars, just a year before Lechfeld. After causing a substantial amount of damage to the king's forces, the rebels then incited Otto to go back to Bavaria and besiege that region again after their previous treachery. The rebellion eventually petered out, with Liudolf and his allies eventually realising they had no hope of winning, although this wouldn't stop Liudolf from uprising again shortly before his death in 957. Despite all the troubles his son had caused him, Otto was certainly deeply upset when news of his passing had been brought to him. After a civil war against his own son and wars against the Magyars, Otto took a break from defensive wars and decided to invade Lombardy in 961, where he removed the troublesome king of Italy, Berengar II, from power and sent him into exile. The next step for Otto on his road to greatness now was to have himself crowned Holy Roman Emperor, which he would achieve the following year.